Hey, it's Dark Harvester here. I've been seeing a lot of complaints on Reddit and Discord about having to play against Rangers, so I wanted to make a tips and tricks video on how to play against a Ranger. Now, this is coming from a Ranger main. I primarily play High Roller Ruins, and I'm going to go over some of the ways that other players counter me, they kill Rangers, and otherwise just utilize strategies that increase their odds of surviving, extracting, or beating the Ranger on the enemy team. So I'm going to talk about some generic tips that help out everybody, and then I'll get into some class-specific counterplay. Tip number one is utilize light while moving. So whether you're using a lantern with a weapon, a torch, an oil lantern, light orb, etc., just you need to have light, and that's because walking into a trap is a death sentence. Number two, when you find a trap, figure out if it can be ignored, because stepping in the trap, one, provides an audio cue, and two, leaves you susceptible to getting headshot. If it can't be ignored, can you jump over it, or does it need to be disarmed? Disarming a trap also leaves you in a position to be headshot. Number three, when you step in a trap in a doorway, immediately close the door. This is going to prevent you from getting shot. If there's no door to close, look down and behind you while disarming the trap to avoid getting headshot. If you're a ranged player, like if you use a bow or a spell, consider whether you need to disarm immediately, because the second that you walk into that trap, the ranger is going to expose themselves to try and kill you, right? So a lot of the times, if I have my bow out and I didn't see a trap and I step in it, I'll just ready my bow, and if someone appears, then I'll headshot them and try and kill them, right? Or I'll shotgun them if it's like a rogue or a bard running up on me. I give it a second, and then I'll disarm, just because I don't want to instantly die. If you're duos or trios, then have a teammate disarm, or if it's like a barb who would take forever, then have them body block while you're disarming. Number four, when advancing towards a ranger, sheath your weapon, right? Press X so that you're running quicker, and strafe left and right. Make sure to be unpredictable. Don't just go left, right, and crouch and look down while at the same time looking left or right. So you're basically just making the most sporadic movement that you can while maintaining momentum forward towards the threat or away from the threat if you're trying to disengage. Tip 5. Take a blue pot and a health pot when you know you're going to advance towards a ranger, right? And then utilize the tips. Utilize tip 4 during that advance. This is so that even if you are taking poke damage, you're healing it back, and that blue pot is mitigating that first arrow that you take. Number 6, do not attempt to fight a ranger who has the option of high ground if you don't have the ability to kill them with range. What I mean by that is, like in Ruins, there's a lot of walls that a ranger can get on top of. If you're a rogue with double jump, maybe you can engage them, right? But if you're a cleric and you don't have the ability to move forward and attack the ranger effectively, then don't move forward. Don't engage with that fight. Number 7, rangers are going to play around their traps, right? And they're going to choreograph their movements accordingly. So if a ranger looks like they're putting themselves in a situation where there's no cover or concealment, consider that they're playing around traps and don't fall for it. Tip number 8, utilize cover and concealment while approaching a ranger. So cover is what prevents you from being shot, like a wall, crate, door, a shield, or even your teammate. And concealment is what prevents you from being seen, like a bush, darkness, invis spot, etc. You can have cover but not concealment, like on Ruins there are invisible walls while you're on top of the castle, or walls that you can look through because of cracks. And you can have concealment but not cover, like when you're a rogue that's using hide, or you're sneaking up in a bush. Okay? Now I'm going to get into some of the class-specific ways, and these do not go very in-depth, but it's just some minor stuff that I noticed. It makes it easier to deal with when classes don't do these and they're trying to engage me. So we'll start with Barbarian. Obviously, you want to use the throwing axes while bobbing and weaving. And then if you hit the Achilles and rage, you close the distance. But the big key point is do not initiate your gap close with rage if you're far away, because it doesn't last long enough. And if you rage from 100 feet away, the ranger's just going to sheath their weapon and then run back, and then by the time you get close, your rage is over and you're going to get kited and killed. So instead, you want to bob and weave towards the ranger, who's going to continue to shoot, and once you get within medium to close range, then you want to hit your rage, because as your rage is ending, you want to be on top of them. You want to get either the Francesca slow, the Achilles slow, or the primary or secondary weapon slow from the hit. As long as you have that slow on them, they're not going to be able to get away. Next up is Cleric. Cleric, you guys need to use your shields while you're advancing, your physical shields. And if you're running ranged attacks like Judgment and Holy Strike while close to medium range, those are really effective against a ranger. If you're not running those, then you don't need to engage with the ranger. Clerics are very easy to kite, and unless you have your physical shield up and you're able to slowly advance forward and you're not losing all your health from getting shot in the legs. Rangers versus rangers. I don't ever run beef jerky, but this is the one instance where I think that it is viable with high level play. The ranger with the beef jerky just has better sustainability and has a higher advantage, right? A higher chance of winning the engagement. Warlocks. Warlocks really can only bob weave, and then once you're medium range, phantomize and blow of corruption. I don't ever have a problem with killing warlocks, and warlocks never ever kill me as rangers. So the whole like play ranged and ray of darkness and you know, ranged spells, it's not it doesn't cut it. The bard, you need to speed buff yourself, bob and weave, and then just pull out the rapier because of that rapier perk. You're going to be obviously you're going to be lethal in close quarters combat with a ranger. Wizards never ever magic missile a ranger. It's literally a free headshot, and I have a billion hours of footage of me just getting free headshots on wizards. Haste, Invis, and Zap. That's going to be the easiest way to kill rangers. They're going to try and create distance as you zap them. Fireball, wizards love the fireball, but it just takes too long to charge up. Your movement speed is slowed while you're charging that up, and you're going to die if the ranger has decent aim. So next up is Rogue. This is the heaviest counter to ranger. It's the offensive counter, and you just landmine, right? You run Shadow Runner, Ambush, Hide, and Creep, and you pop up in their face. If you're not able to kill rangers, then you just need to practice more. Lastly is Fighter. This is the defensive counter. Fighter is just going to run PDR with a shield, and secondary a ranged weapon like a bow or a crossbow. The primary tip that I have for fighters is to save your sprint for when you're medium to close range from the ranger as opposed to far away, and that way it'll increase your chances of being able to catch up to that ranger. So that's going to be it, guys. If you have any other tips and tricks, please leave them in the comments below. And if you learned anything, consider subscribing. Thanks.